So I've worked for the RNLI for 10 years. The reason I still come here, love the job. I love what the RNLI stand for. And because I'm a volunteer, I know why we do what we do. My name's Steve Porter. I'm the manufacturing manager for Shannon New Build and Asset Repair and Maintenance here at the All Weather Lifeboat Centre in Poole. So we build the boats from scratch here in Poole. We start with quite literally nothing. 18 months later we have a finished boat. So we've always got 6 boats in build and we actually turn out 4 boats per year complete, ready to go into service.
I'm Glyn Ellis. I'm Business Operations Manager here at the Inshore Lifeboat Centre. I've worked here for nearly 26 years. I've really enjoyed working here. I've seen most of the ILBs be developed from different classes.
So they vary in size, essentially, the all-weather lifeboats, from 17 metres at the biggest down to 12 metres at the smallest. They've got different roles depending where they are around the country. So you tend to find the 7 classes are in the big seas, where they're going to be dealing with big boats and potential for lots of casualties. But the smaller boats are generally a bit closer in, still very capable boats. They just haven't got as much deck space for the casualties.
At the Inshore Lifeboat Centre we deal with all the ILBs, and the main one being the Atlantic 85, which is 35 knots. It's a rib, it can be capsized and righted, and it carries 4 crew. The other ILB is the D class. We've got about 140 of them in the fleet, and they are the workhorse of the RNLI. And then the other ILBs are boats like the inshore rescue boat that the lifeguards use. Rescue watercraft, which are jet skis as people know them as, we use on the beaches. We've got inshore lifeboats on the Thames as well, to cover the River Thames.
So the benefit of the Poole Support Centre, we have centralised stores here, which helps to have the bits that we need to build the boats. We build the boats in the factory in the All Weather Lifeboat Centre, so everything's close to hand. The training college here, so the college was built specifically to train the crew. So we've got the tank, the sea survival pool, where we can capsize Atlantics and D classes. Crew can actually step off a 4-metre platform to get some confidence in the equipment they've got. They've packed their own life jacket, they step into the water and it inflates, it gives you confidence. We've got a nice protected space, being the 2nd largest natural harbour in the world. Got lots of room, lots of options for the training team. And then we've obviously got Poole Bay to go out if we need some weather or to work with helicopters. The other beauty of having the crews in at the college, we'll bring them across to the factory as much as we can so they can see how the boats are built. Again, confidence. If the crew are confident in the team who have built the boat, then hopefully they'll be confident that their boat will keep them safe. The Shannon lifeboat, designed in-house some time ago now, was originally built at an external boatyard. Production was brought in-house with the construction of the All Weather Lifeboat Centre to allow us to control quality and costs. So before the All Weather Lifeboat Centre was built, lifeboats were built in a variety of yards. So the general design belonged to the RNLI, and yards would build the boats in line with that design, but kind of in their own way. So what we've got on the older lifeboats, they're similar, they look the same, but actually things are slightly different. With the All Weather Lifeboat Centre and bringing that production of Shannon in-house, they are the same. The Shannon is currently a unique all-weather lifeboat. It is water jet powered, so that sounds really sort of extravagant, but it's diesel engines that then drive water jet propulsion systems. The older lifeboats use propellers and rudders. The water jets actually jet water out of the back of the boat that's directional and obviously gives the boat considerably enhanced manoeuvrability.
We made the decision quite a few years ago to protect our supply of boats. We'll build them ourselves. The reason and the advantages of building boats ourselves, we've got a dedicated supply line of boats now Next one's going in the water on the 1st of July. The one after that will be 3 months later. We know roughly every 3 months a boat is launched. And if we want to make a design change, we just make a design change. We don't have to renegotiate a contract. So it works out win-win-win for us.
So the build of the Shannon class lifeboat starts in the composite building, that's building A, in a mould tool in an oven essentially. So we've got 2 ovens. We mould the hull and we mould the superstructure or wheelhouse separately. It takes about 3 months doing that particular operation where we build up the composite structure. After 3 months it gets removed from the moulds, moves on to the next stage in composite. That's when we will be cutting holes and fitting bits and fitting pads, water jets. So it's kind of the next stage of build. After moulding, another 3 months, then moves into paint, where it's like it says on the tin, we're painting it inside and out with a selection of products that actually help to prevent fire, as well as make it look pretty. We give paint 3 months, but they don't need that long, they're a quick team, but it gives us a little bit of time in production to balance things. When the 2 halves of the boat come out of paint, they then move across to building B. Building B is fit out. Another 3 months for the next stage of build, where we will fit as much as we possibly can whilst the boat is in 2 halves. So engines go in, drive shafts, electrical wiring, air conditioning system, albeit not connected, but it's in place. Fuel tanks are in and tested. Lots and lots of things go in whilst the build crew can actually stand and move comfortably. Once the top goes on, so once the wheelhouse gets joined to the hull, space is a bit more restricted. Then we make it into one boat where we actually glue it together and then over laminate and then do the final fit out. That's the last 3 months of build. That's where we've got seats going in, windows going in, aerials, masts, things like that, and the final connections. So because it's been designed to be built in 2 halves, it's designed to go together and all connect up. And it all works out really well, and then we're out of there and into trials. The inshore fleet, well, that's a slightly different kettle of fish. That's the D class, which is the small inflatable, and then the Atlantic 85, which is an 8.5 metre rib. They're both built at the Inshore Lifeboat Centre on the Isle of Wight.
The All-Weather Lifeboat Centre and the Inshore Lifeboat Centre are very similar, but basically we do the same type of processes. We work very close together with them. We build the waterside doors for them here. We refurbish the windows for the all-weather lifeboats here as well for refits. We also cut all the fiberglass kits here on our CNC machine, so that saves hours and hours in hand cutting the fabric. It's the Inshore Lifeboat Centre, known as ILC. We've been here since 1963. What we do now is we build all the inshore lifeboats. We build, maintain, refit them, we test them. So every 71 hours a boat goes out the door and a boat comes in the door. The production of the B class takes us about 20 weeks, and the B class comes back every 5 to 6 years for a refit. The 10 slots are basically periods of 71 hours. A boat will be moulded in the first slot, in the first 3 or 4 slots actually. So we mould the shell of the boat here, the console. Basically with the Atlantics, everything is modular. So you've got a hull module, a sponsor module, console module, and engine modules. So they can all be split from the boat and join the boat at the end of the line when they've either been made or refurbished. One of the cheapest boats to build, but the design of it is over 60 years old. It's the same shape as it was when it was originally designed. We've just upgraded all materials and added bits to it over the years.
The Atlantic 85 is fitted with the self-righting system. There we have on the top of the roll bar, we have basically an airbag that's connected via some hoses to 2 gas cylinders, CO2 cylinders.
We go through the process, the engine's running, we capsize it with a crane, it lifts it up, inverts it, and then it sets off all the alarms. It shuts everything down so that the engine's not running while it's upside down.
So you obviously land in the water, and then there's definitely a team aspect to making sure that everybody gets to the stern of the boat.
When the boat capsizes, the crew can right the boat themselves. They pull a lever on the transom of the boat. The inflatable bag, which is on top of the roll mast, which is now underwater, inflates, and the buoyancy flips the boat back out to upright. The crew then climb in and start the engine, start the electrics, and off they go, carry on even after the capsize.
The main difference between the ALC and the ILC deal with the inshore boats, so say with the 85s and the IB1s, so we work a lot closer into the shore. The IB1 boat, which is the D class, that's very much like the workhorse of the RNLI fleet. It can go into caves along rocks. It's a completely fabric boat, so if the bottom gets torn, it's just a case of patching the rubber and it can carry on service, whereas with a GRP hull like an 85, if they strike an object, then it's obviously we've got to do a big hull repair on it. So
A lot of the work we're doing currently at the moment is rebuilding gearboxes. So a new gearbox, they're probably about £1,200, and we can generally strip it down, rebuild it with labour and parts, and it costs like £500–600. A massive saving.
26 years ago, 80% of the boat was bought in. So we bought the hull, bought the sponsor, bought the console. Today we build 80% of the boat in-house. Building in-house is the best way. It cost the Inshore Lifeboat Centre about £3.5 million to run. The RNLI cost us £191 million a year to run, and nearly all that money goes towards the production of the boats and our life-saving capability. So it's very important we get that every year. They have to go out and raise that money every year.
The cost for the Shannon published cost this year, I believe, is £2.7 million. That's for one boat. It's quite a lot of money. Running the charity, I'm pretty sure 2023 was £193 million for the year.
Yeah, so fundraising is colossal. People are really surprised that we are genuinely a charity.
I know that legacies, so gifts left in wills, contribute a huge portion of our income.
All our money comes from donations, subscriptions, mostly from legacies. 2/3 of our money comes from wills.
Obviously we're in the kind of 200th year at the moment, so there's loads of fundraising going on in general. Yeah, so we have an open day here as well in August, and that tends to raise loads of money. Well, the statistics surrounding the amount of money that's given to us in wills is just incredible. Our boathouse was given to us in one single donation.
We were very generously left a pair of Ferraris from an estate, so a gentleman's will. Yeah, I remember seeing them here at the factory. We actually put them in a paint booth and took some photos of them. Incredible images, and I know that they were sold at auction. One of them was particularly rare Ferrari, and they raised us a huge amount of money. I believe it's the largest single donation left to us.
People can either leave a lot of money to buy a whole boat or partial boat, or they can put small donations in to be part of a name on a boat. So when we have a naming ceremony here, the donor or the trustees, the family of maybe a lost one who the boat's named after will come along, the boat gets blessed, gets named, and it's like a mini ceremony. Crew are invited and fundraisers are invited.
there's other ways people can sort of donate and get their names on a lifeboat. I know Royal Weather Lifeboats, they now have a scheme where you can pay or donate a smaller amount and then have a name put on one of the ALBs. Yeah, all these ideas that the fundraising team come up with to generate income are sort of vital.
So we have quite a few. We have possibly 3 or 4 a year here.
Yeah, so it's really, it is our bread and butter. It's what we need. As volunteers, we are extremely grateful that the fundraising happens. We do also get hugely involved in it as well, where we can. But yeah, because it keeps us putting petrol in our boats. I am a volunteer lifeboat crew member. I go afloat on our Atlantic and D-class boats. So I've been a volunteer for 6 years in August. I am a teacher and I joined the RNLI. It's something that I've always wanted to do.
I'm a volunteer as well. I've been a volunteer on station for 12 years. So I was a volunteer first, employee second. I go to sea on an inshore lifeboat built by my colleagues on the Isle of Wight at the Inshore Lifeboat Centre. I know how well they work. It makes me comfortable to go to sea in whatever weather I need to know that the equipment's up to the job. So I've got that inherent interest in making sure that my teams put out the best boats they can, because it's my volunteer colleagues who are going to sea on them.
From the production perspective, I guess there's a level of pride that's involved in that. You know that the boats have been produced by fellow RNLI employees. They have designed them, they have built them, and they have made them safe for us. When we go out, we are trained how to use the boats safely and how they can look after us safely.
They are all-weather lifeboats. They can all go out in any weather. They're all self-righting.
And yeah, you always feel 100% safe.
Benefit from building is repeatability. So we know where things should be. You know, when you need to get the axe, as an example, it will be in the locker. It will be in the forward tool locker, or it will be in with a fire hose. It'll always be the same place.
So we have a pager. Ironically, I don't know where mine is. Oh, it's over there. But yeah, so we have a pager. We're given a pager pretty much on day one to see whether we can cope with it going off. It makes a big noise and it goes off, and the idea is as soon as it goes off, you come to the station as quickly as you can, and then you get to see if you're chosen to go out on the shout. There are 30 crew here, and to take both boats, we need 8 members of crew. So you can do the maths and figure out that you don't always go. So you have to be pretty flexible, and you have to be understanding as to what the shout is.
That's in there, there. Down up the street, 2 metres.
So managing being a volunteer and an employee, I have the support of my management. They know that I'm a volunteer. They know that when the pager goes, I need to disappear off. As volunteers, we're quite lucky. We can sign on or off as we need to. So if there's something at work that takes precedence, I can sign off and not respond. But generally, my management are very supportive of me going to do the do and save the lives.
Put your hand in the air. The other one. Other hand, mate. Grab my wrist.
With regards to how it works around my job, I simply don't have my pager on when I'm at work, but it's on for the rest of the time, unless we have anything on, the weekends or whatever. But aside from that, the pager is on 24/7.
25 knot capable, so we can get places quickly. The all-weather lifeboats are 25 knots in any weather, which is a bit of a difference. The inshore lifeboats, 25 knots in a moderate sea state is not a nice place to be.
You stay there, yeah? We're going to come to you. Stay where you are, yeah?
It's not something that we shout about at all, but it's definitely something that you reflect upon, and at moments, especially if things make the media, you think, oh, crikey, I was involved with that.
The RNLI, for those who maybe have just landed on the planet and don't know who we are, it's a life-saving charity which involves a lot of lifeboats, a lot of fundraisers, a lot of volunteers, fundraise of volunteer crews who go out in all weathers to save life. So they're very selfless, and they will go out in the middle of the night in the cold to save someone they don't know.
And you rely purely on charitable donations. It's like a big family, really, RNLI.
We used to have a boat when I was little, and my papa, so my granddad, was obsessed with the RNLI, and he always used to say, you have to respect the water and then it will look after you, and it's kind of stuck with me. He was the reason why I'm here now, but my love of the water is, it's in me.
So the RNLI has been a charity for 200 years. I'm very proud to wear the flag on my chest. Donations and fundraising is what keeps us afloat. Yes, the boats go to sea, But without charitable donations, without people putting their 20p, their pound into the bucket, we simply wouldn't exist. So those charitable donations, they're the lifeblood of the charity.